Oh, well, still lawmakers' controversial comments pushing to stop funding rural schools with less than 25 students has small villages fighting for their future.
Republican Representative Lynn Gaddis is no stranger to small schools. She wants people to know she grew up in a village and is a product of a rural school. But she says at a time when the state's budget is in crisis, nothing is off the table. While changing the threshold to 25 students would shut down about 60 village schools, she says she truly believes it's what's best for the kids.
If they move somewhere else, is that good for kids? If they move somewhere where they have jobs, where kids have great schools, that's best for kids.
So when a village loses a school, parents have a big decision to make.
Some try to homeschool their kids, but most move to a bigger community that still has a school. In part 2 of our 3-part series, Schools on the Edge, KTVA 11's Daniela Rivera takes us to Dillingham. Daniela?
That's right. Dillingham is the hub community in Bristol Bay, a part of the state where some village schools have already closed after falling below 10 students. Tonight, we introduce you to a student who moved to Dillingham after his school in Portage Creek shut down a decade ago, and the village that was his home became a ghost town.
I didn't really expect to get this job.
What Jolyn Kapotic is doing here at the University of Fairbanks Bristol Bay campus is tedious,
Say that.
but revolutionary. 4 years ago, a pregnant whale washed up on Dillingham shores. Now, he's working on what UAF says will be the first ever 3D scanned whale fetus.
It's really exciting to work on a project that can be hopefully going down in history.
Rotating each bone to create multiple scans, then digitally trimming away the styrofoam that's holding it steady.
Just trim it all off.
This is how the high school senior spends the first 4 hours of his day. Then he goes to school. Jolyn prefers the alternative high school program at Dillingham schools. Here, it's a smaller, more intimate experience, similar to the village school he used to go to in Portage Creek, before the number of students there dropped below 10 and the school shut down.
It was nice while it lasted.
His school closed in 2006. By 2010, the village's population of 36 had decreased to just 2.
It's just our uncle and auntie up there at the moment. Just 2 people, no one else.
Once the school goes, and you can look at any village in the last 10 years throughout the state, when they drop below the threshold, the village almost goes away.
Alternative high school teacher John Montooth has watched students like Jolyn moving from a small village for school go through a long adjustment period and says it's not easy.
For several years, their whole social fabric is torn apart.
He knows if the state stopped funding schools with less than 25 students, families from small Bristol Bay villages would start moving to Dillingham.
Those people have to move out of those villages to other villages that have schools. So it impacts not only the people that have to move, but where they move to, because they can in fact impact housing.
This is math and science.
Dillingham Superintendent Danny Frazier says the short-term benefits would not outweigh the long-term harm.
Dillingham, in a short term, would tend to benefit from that because we would have schools coming in from smaller villages into Dillingham. However, in the long run, I think very much it could eliminate rural Alaska totally.
When the school leaves, what happens to a village?
When the school leaves, I mean, that's the heart of the community. So everything starts leaving. People, of course, say we'll never leave, and then, reality is there's nothing to hold you there.
Small bones like this.
Away from the village, doing work he can be proud of.
Worked with a couple of big bones like that, but not many.
And preparing to graduate, Jolyn is doing well. But he hopes to go back one day to the life he knew first. A life that for many other Native Alaskans could be on the brink of extinction. Tomorrow in part 3, the final story in our series, we take you to Clark's Point to show you what happens when a community loses a school and the steps they're taking to keep their village alive. Emily and Alexis.
All right, thanks so much, Danielle.